Hey guys, thank you for coming to my channel. In this video, I'll be talking about the difference between subjects and objects. So for starters, what is a subject? The subject in a sentence is the person doing the action. Subject pronouns like I, he, she, they, it, and we are used when the subject is performing the action. So here are some examples of subjects in a sentence. So our first example says, I like watching scary movies. As you can see, I underlined I because I am the one that's performing the action. And the action that's being formed is like, also the verb. Our next example says, she has long hair. She is underlined because she is the subject, because she's the one that's doing the action. Also the verb, which is has. So to elaborate on that, has is the verb, and she has long hair, so she's the one that's doing the verb. Our last example says, we went to the party last night. The subject is we because we are the ones that are doing the action. Went is the action, also known as the verb. So as you can see in all of these sentences, the subject is the person or people that are doing the action, also known as the verb. So what is an object? There are two types of objects, direct objects and indirect objects. A direct object of a verb is the thing or person the action is done to, or the thing or person that receives the action. An indirect object is the recipient of the direct object. Object pronouns are used when something or someone is receiving the action. They come after either the verb or a preposition. Here are some object pronouns: me, you, him, her, it, us, you, and them. Next, we have our examples with direct objects. To identify the direct object, find the verb, which is an action word, and ask whom or what. For example, in the sentence, my friend hates candy, you would ask yourself, my friend hates what? My friend hates candy, and that's how you would find the direct object. Also, candy is the direct object because hates is the verb, and the candy is being hated, and that would make it that direct object. Our next example says, I'm eating cereal. Ask yourself, I'm eating what? Cereal is being eaten, so that makes it the direct object, and it also comes after the verb. In other words, the action is being done to cereal, so that will make it the direct object. The third example says, let's go to the mall. In this sentence, mall is the direct object because the mall is the one that the action's being done to, because we're going to the mall. And the verb in this sentence is go. Next, we have indirect objects. To find the indirect object, which is the recipient of the direct object, first find the direct object and then figure out who or what received the direct object. And there will be examples on the next slides. So our first example says, I'm taking my daughter to school. So the direct object would be my daughter because she's the one that is being taken to school. As we discussed earlier, the direct object is the person receiving the action, or that the action is done to. So taking is the verb, also the action, and my daughter is being taken to school. So she's the direct object. And being that the indirect object is the recipient of the direct object, that means the indirect object would be the school, because the school is the one that's receiving my daughter, which is the direct object. The second example says, I'm cooking lasagna for my husband. The direct object is lasagna because it's a recipient of the verb, which is cooking. The lasagna is being cooked, so that makes it the direct object. And being that the indirect object is the recipient of the direct object, which is cooking, that would make my husband the indirect object because the cooking is for him. The last example says, I'm packing my clothes for vacation. The direct object will be my clothes because they are the recipients of the verb, which is packing, which is also an action word. In other words, the action is being done to my clothes. They're being packed. So the indirect object will be vacation because the vacation was the recipient of the direct object, which is clothes. The object clothes were packed for the indirect object vacation. So what is the object of a preposition? The object of a preposition is the noun or pronoun that comes after a preposition. Before we discuss the meaning of an object of a preposition, let's make sure we have an understanding of what a preposition is. So what is a preposition? Prepositions usually come before nouns or pronouns and they show time, direction, location, or position. Our first example says, I live in a big house. As you can see, in is the preposition because it's letting you know that I live inside the house. Not outside or underneath it, but inside of the house. Our next example says the dog is under the bed. As you can see, under is the preposition because under is giving you more info on the location of the dog. The dog is under the bed, not above the bed, not on the side of the bed. The dog is under the bed. Our last example says she likes jogging at the park. As you can see, at is underlined because it's the preposition. It's letting you know where she likes jogging at. She doesn't like jogging at the field or at the track. She likes jogging at the park. Now let's discuss objects of a preposition. So our first example says the dog is under the tree. As you can see, under is the preposition because it's describing where the dog is at. And tree is the noun, so that would make tree the object of the preposition under. The dog is under the tree. Our next example says the lady is sleeping in her bed. As you can see, in is the preposition because it's telling you where the lady is sleeping at. She's not sleeping on the floor. She's not sleeping outside. She's sleeping in her bed. So in is the preposition and bed is the noun, so that would make bed the object of the preposition in. And our last example says the keys are behind the dresser. Behind is the preposition because it's letting you know where the keys are, and dresser is the noun, so that would make dresser, the noun, the object of the preposition behind. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you found this video informative. If you did find this video informative, please feel free to like, comment, or subscribe, or all of the above, and I'll see you next time. Bye.